Tortoise, you don't throw it out.
Oh my, what a...
Call me a giant or call me a 49er. Call me a warrior cause I follow a code of honor.
Have you guys ever heard of the term styles makes fights? Well, this matchup is exactly what that does. This guy fights a defensive style that really forces me to make an unusual adjustment so early on into a fight, and I'm really glad I was able to catch on to it as early on as I did. Now, this is on my Sophus account where I have a 78 overall fighter, and usually you don't come across too good a competition. But the way this guy played defense was so different from everybody else. He used a push defense strategy where he'll push me off of him, and that will send me flying back and cause me to either miss a punch or end up leaving him with an easy block whenever I went to the body or whenever I got him close up on the ropes. You're going to see he does it quite a few times throughout the duration of the fight. And it brings me to a topic, today's topic that I'd like to discuss with you guys, and that is styles makes fights. The way this game is set up is very hard to tell the difference, especially in punching styles sometimes. I mean, certain punch styles have like a distinct difference. For example, the Ali style has the distinct difference in the jab, but all the other punches look the same. Straights will look a little different as well, but jabs and straights are different. Hooks and uppercuts are the same as all the other punch styles. Frazier style hooks are a little more compact than all the other styles. The Roy Jones Jr. style, the straight is ugly. He has that nasty little straight that pulls back. You guys will see it if you watch any of my Anthony Medina gameplays. But yeah, it has that nasty little straight. Foreman, only difference, well, besides the punch speed, it seems a little bit different. It's the uppercuts. Uppercuts are nasty. Other than that, there's not really any distinction in the punching styles in this game. But the problem that I want to talk about isn't the punching styles, even though that is a problem in its own thing with so generic between all of the different styles. But the problem is the styles that people play online are so distinctive. Like, I feel like every time I go into a fight, I know exactly what I'm going to get. A sidestep uppercut, backstep straight. Now, I'm not here today to complain about spamming, but I've been watching a lot of different fight night videos from round 3 to round 4. A lot of the tournament videos that went down, and I see the guys who play sim, like, they all have different styles from each other. Mine is, I throw a whole different set of combinations versus everybody else. I feel I have one of the most unique set of combinations where most of my combinations are, either 3 to 2 punch combinations, and I have a wide variety of the punches that I throw. When you fight on OWC in a random ranked match, you usually don't get that. You don't get a random fight where a guy isn't doing the sidestep right uppercut or the backstep straight. There's nothing wrong with doing those things as long as you don't abuse it. But I feel like every time I come into a random ranked match, it's just like I'm fighting the same people over and over again. And most people quit this game because they get fed up with the spam moves. This game makes me want to quit because sometimes there's no variation, which causes people to take breaks and stuff because they need to get that thirst back for the game before they even get back involved into fighting random people online. And I swear it's such a copycat league in the way the online ranked matches go that it really makes it unbearable sometimes to play. Like, you're gonna get the same type of fight. You're gonna go against the same type of people. They're gonna have the same type of strategies. You'll make an adjustment, and then they won't be able to adjust afterwards. Now, this guy, I give this guy a lot of respect. One, because he caused me a lot of problems on offense. Offensively, I decided after seeing I couldn't touch him, and my boxer had a real lack of speed. In order to compensate for that, one, I had to work the body and because he was making my punch accuracy go down with the pushes, I decided to make an adjustment in which I will now, instead of going down the stairs to the body and just looking for my 3-punch combinations, I look for power shots now. I look for haymakers, shots that will count, so that even though my accuracy may be lower than his, the shots that I land will be effective enough to get me the rounds. And from round 3, that's what I decided to do, is using round 1 as an observation round, round 2 as a quick test round, and then now round 3 you see me throwing a lot more power shots. I'm starting to get closer towards him. He's still pushing me off, but the shots that I'm throwing are now starting to count. Like, look at the power shots, look at the single shots, power shot to the body, power shot back upstairs, and chase him down and keep as close to him as possible, trying to fight more of a mid-range strategy where I will dive in with a punch. I'll start out from a distance and I'll come close, then I'll dive in. This way his pushes don't have the effect, because if I'm way too close to him, he will be able to push me out. But if I stay at a distance and dive in with a punch, and they will be effective and they will land. So that's the adjustment that I end up making after the very first 2 difficult rounds. And now the ball is back into his court in order to make an adjustment, an effective adjustment that would allow him to stay in control of this fight. So after the 3rd round, I'm down by 2 rounds, but I just made progress that will carry me through the rest of the fight. Which brings me back to styles. Like, you don't see this most of the time. Most of the time, everybody wants to run, everybody wants to talk about, I fight defensively, I'm a defensive style fighter. I'm Floyd Mayweather, that's what everybody wants to be. Most people don't realize Floyd, he's not a runner. He'll actually be right in the pocket with you. When I say the pocket, he'll be right in your range. He'll be standing right there with you. Guys like Floyd, Adrian Broner, you got a lot of guys who want to imitate and impersonate these guys, but they don't come close to fighting the type of style that they do. Yeah, Floyd has good defense, but he doesn't run. He actually blocks and defends punches. He'll be right in your face and use his offense, his jab. And most of these guys are just use their side step, right uppercut, back step straight, and they have the nerve to call themselves Floyd Mayweather. That's no Floyd Mayweather style. That's a spamming style. That's a exploiter style. And it frustrates me sometimes to see that guys want to call themselves like they fight like real boxers, but then you don't do any of the things that are fundamental towards the game. That's why I say all the time, you know, that's why I made that statement earlier about styles make fights. Because if you look at it, just look at, imagine the last ring game that you played. What are the things that you notice? Probably, I'll answer that for you. Probably he was running around the ring, Philly shell defense, which there's nothing wrong with using any type of the block that you want to, but I use Philly shell. I'll use any block actually. It doesn't really matter to me. I'm using textbook block in this gameplay. But he was probably running around Philly shell defense, maxed out reach or close to maxed out reach, almost tallest height, if not the tallest height. And he probably had the straight or his right uppercut, depending on his stance, right uppercut or left uppercut, as his most thrown punch. He barely used his jab, and he threw tons of power shots. Maybe even knocked you out, because that's what you usually get. A guy backing up, running, and throwing power shots with a straight or a sidestepping on an uppercut. It's almost like you get caught in a counter zone, where you're stuck in this window, where whenever you sidestep, whatever punch you throw automatically gets countered. And it's ridiculous. Like, that's not how the game should work. Honestly, there needs to be an adjustment made into the next installment where people are actually rewarded for throwing combinations, where the judges aren't just looking for single shots. Because that's the way it goes in boxing. If you look at a boxing fight, they have this thing called shoe shiner for guys in the amateur league, where you would do about a 5 or 6 quick punch combination, where there's a series of hooks to the body and throw about 2 up top to the head, and I'll catch the judge's attention. If there's anything that should be catching the judge's attention, it isn't so much power, it should be more of the combinations and how many punches you land in a series, not just one powerful shot, even though those things could cross critical studs and do impact a lot of damage onto your opponent. It shouldn't affect the scorecard so badly that if you try to use an outside fighter and I don't throw about 15 to 16 power shots and a guy who's an inside fighter lands about 3 power shots on me, and even though my accuracy is better, he'll still win the round because his damage percentage that he done to me was a lot higher. That's the way it works to boxing, but also the game seems to take away the aspect of there needs to be accuracy rating, ring generalship, defensive generalship, and then how much damage you inflict on your opponent. It's not just the damage rating, which seems to be what the judges' scorecards go on, which is why a lot of people fight these styles of just throwing power punches and side steps and whatnot, and while most guys either use brawlers or inside fighters. I use the inside fighters, but I actually come forward. I don't run too often, or I don't back up too often. As you see here, this gameplay, I'm coming forward, I'm looking to dish out punishment. The style that I fight is more of an adjustment kind of style. Like, I'll see what you're doing, and then based on that, since I master all the styles of the game, then I'll fight an opposite style towards that. But usually I look to inside fight because that's what I like to do. A lot of these guys do what he does and like to back up and stay on the ropes a lot. And nothing wrong with being defensive, but it's just too common in my opinion. It's just way too common on this game, where every time you go into a fight, it's the same thing. And honestly, that's why some people take breaks, because they get bored watching the same type of fight every time. So we're in round 6 here, and he hasn't made any adjustments yet that will carry him through the fight or give him any rounds. I've won every round after round after round, and my strategy has been real effective with all those power shots that I've been throwing, as well as all the body shots are starting to pile up on him. And you know, his push is working, but I'm being so aggressive and there's so much pressure in my diving. I'm able to dive in and land enough punches that his defense isn't where it was in the first 2 rounds. I'm actually starting now to penetrate through his guard, starting now to smash through the guard and get some effective shots on him. And the power shots is what allow me to win these rounds. It's because not only am I scoring points from the outside when I come in from that mid-range attack, but I'm also landing power shots, which is gonna inflict more damage on my opponent and increase my accuracy. So we're going into round 7 here, and I believe this is where he makes his big critical adjustment. As you can see here, he's not backing up anymore. This guy now realizes, you know, he got that sense of urgency, I believe it is here, where now he's starting to do something he hasn't done before. Yes, he's backing up still. This probably wasn't this round, it's probably the next round. But you know, he's a lot more aggressive than where he was. Yeah, actually it was this round. As you can see now he's starting to pressure me. He's not laying back on the ropes anymore. There's no more laying back, there's no more push defense, all that stuff out the window. He feels the adjustment that he needs to make in order to be successful in this fight and to take it back, like as he had control in the first 2 rounds, is to apply pressure and to be aggressive. And that's the type of fight that I like to get. Now I've come forward for the last, I believe, the first 6 rounds. He now decides it's his job, his plan B is now needed to be implemented, because now I won about 4 rounds in a row. You know, you got one more chance to try something before you need either a knockdown or get a chance of winning the decision, because the game doesn't allow for draws. So now he's starting to back me down, and because of all this pressure he's applying to me, it actually forces me to be more defensive, and now I have the right to be more defensive. I can use my jab, I can box with the guy, I can fight on the outside a little more now, because now I know I'm in control, and now he's desperate and he needs to make a change in order to be successful. But yeah, now it's good. Now I can fundamentally box with this guy. I still have enough stamina to do that if I continue to try to fight the style that I was in the past 4 rounds. it will end up leading me to either get a knockdown because he has more stamina than me because he was playing more defensive, or excuse me, or I will end up getting knocked down because I don't have the strength to compete with him. So we're in round 8 now. Now his round 7, I assume that was a test round of him being so aggressive, and he actually, I believe he was fighting the southpaw this whole time, but he ends up being more aggressive, and I believe he used round 7 as a test round for if he can win the remaining rounds. So now that I see him being more aggressive, I decided to change, like I said last round, to more of a boxing kind of outside fighter this round because I'm ahead on points. And with 78 strength, with 78 overall, even though I have an inside fighter, I don't upgrade really any of my punches. I really go for the upgrades on the chin and the combination speed, so my punches could come out faster. If I come across a straight spammer, I could take a few shots before I get his timing down, and that will cause me a lot of actually it will save me a lot of it will save me a lot of time from dealing with that kind of thing. So I usually go for the chin and stuff. So most of my fights come by way of decision when I'm at 78 overall. So I did switch to the more if you want to call it more girl-like, pussy-like style of just scoring points. That's what it is, because even though I'm still staying in the pocket with the guy, I don't have the strength and I don't have the stamina needed to knock him out, nor do I have the power in my punches in order to take him out. Even though he's applying pressure, it's good that he's able to fight 2 different types of styles, because it's so important to master all the styles of the game, just in case you come across an opponent like myself who's able to make adjustments and fight different types of styles that'll take you out of your game plan. That's why I always say it's very important to know how to fight all the styles in the game. So we're at the end of round 8 now. I'm going into round 9, and my stamina is getting a lot low. Even though I got 7% recovery, I look for the 12 or 13. Shows that I'm throwing a lot of punches, and I'm gonna need to continue to do that if I want to keep this guy out. So I switched back to orthodox stance here. Stay out of southpaw this time, because now I feel like I can throw with this guy. I can fight. I can use my inside fighter to neutralize the combo, which is jab straight to the body, and a hook either up top or downstairs to keep him out, as well as use that jab very effectively. And because I've fought southpaw the whole time, this will allow me to change up to something he hasn't seen before, which will cause him to need to make a different adjustment. And like I said also, he's the one losing. He's the one down on points. So he needs to come forward in order to take back this fight. So far I won 8 rounds. No, I run 7 rounds right now compared to his 2. Well, it will be 7 at the end of this round. And in order for him to take anything back, he'll need several knockdowns and even a knockdown. And at 78, you don't get flashes, or I haven't encountered getting flashed at 78. So he's just swinging away and throwing tons of punches, trying to figure out how to close the gap. And by me keeping the jab in his face, keeping up a good defensive guard, it's not allowing him to score the points that he needs, and his punch accuracy is going way down, which won't end up winning him the rounds at all. But it's like, what else can he do at this point? I made an adjustment to every adjustment that he has thrown out, and once I'd done that, once his plan A was out the window, it was like there was no chance of plan B being implemented into the game and actually working. And so he's fighting an uphill battle right now. It's a slim chance to none that he'll actually come back and win this fight without without me making any mistakes. So that's the end of round 9. We've been dominating this fight from the start. Well, after our adjustment was made in round 3, we've been dominated so far, and now it's just a matter of taking it to the 10th, using the pumping that jab out, and taking this fight all the way down to a decision and make him earn his victory. You're gonna see at the end of this video, he's gonna send me a message saying respect, because most guys, like I said, most guys don't give people fights like this, where it's not just a sidestep right uppercut. You know, it's not just a back and forth adjustment and battle of the minds, where it's just battle of gameplay. You know, most guys don't do stuff like that. So I hope you guys enjoy this. I'll leave you to the rest of this gameplay. And remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. And you know, leave a comment. I like reading what you guys write. This is your boy FightNightsFinest, the Sophie commentator, signing off.